I'll keep an eye on it from here.
It's there somewhere. We're back. He's back. Oh goodness, Sue. I'd like to welcome Sue Cat. He is serving as translator in the back, hiding there. He came to Peoria in the early 1990s as part of Operation Exodus, a Federation program to rescue Jews from the former Soviet Union. He's a hairstylist. He's a father of two. He's a member of the Federation Board. I worked a long time on this intro. Please welcome Alex Schuster. And now on to our special guests. Please welcome Tatyana Elliot and her father, Mikhailo Sutanov. So, Tatyana emigrated in 1999 from Ukraine to the United States. She works as an ultrasound technician at OSF. She has one son and a grandson in America, and a brother and other family who still live in Ukraine. Her father lived in Ukraine until March of this year. Now, Mikhailo is Jewish, Tatyana is not, and we're going to tell you a story now. And you can see this picture was taken before the evacuation, before the story we're about to share with you. So, Tatyana, welcome.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you for everything you've done.
Absolutely. So, I will walk you through the story of going to get your father. When your father was living in Dnipro in central Ukraine, right?
Yes.
Tatyana, we can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are from Dnipro.
And he was in an assisted living facility. He had been living at home, and now he had been, at this point, in about the time the war started in Ukraine, which was February of this year, he was in the assisted living facility for maybe a year?
Yes.
And he was there with other Jewish folks. And what was it like for him during the time when the war started? You're gonna have to hold the mic.
I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell this because it's very, very touchy topic for me. The war started 24th of February, and it's hard to describe as full-scale war. And how it started, it was bombed every city in Ukraine. My city, Dnipro, was first 5 o'clock in the morning, was destroyed airports, some civil buildings, some infrastructure. And I was in US knowing that my dad is over there. It was, there is no words to describe how it was.
Yeah.
Especially for my father, because my father is, as you know, he's Holocaust survivor. He spent 4 years in occupation in Ukraine during the Second World War. And it's brought all back, all those sirens, all those explosions, all those getting up at night and going in the shelter in the middle of the night several times for elderly person with dementia. It's horrible. There is no words to describe it. It's horror.
Yeah.
It's something.
We have a slide, Steve, if you could go to the next, there we go. So you mentioned that your father was a survivor of the Holocaust in World War II. And on the right, I believe that's your father and his sister?
Yes.
When they were younger. And then on the left, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's Mikhailo's father holding him in the upper left?
Yes, yes. It's the only picture which was left from in the family from his older brother when he found him after war, and that picture of their family, and only my father, who is the youngest, on the hands,
Yeah.
and Uncle Fima is oldest one on the right, and sister with a little boy who is there later after the war when they found each other. She saved his life.
Did during the time when after the war started and before you started to try to get your father out of Ukraine, did you get a chance to talk to your father on the phone? Or?
Yes, when I started, I immediately tried to get him out of there. The chances to get out were very slim. It was impossible because my family don't own the car over there. We are from the big city. It was impossible to get or rent or buy a car. It was very dangerous to drive through Ukraine. All those green corridors were bombed. It was impossible to take a train. It was thousands of people storming the trains. For elderly person, it would be impossible. I asked assistant living if there are evacuation plans. And that was paid by it was Jewish assistant living.
Right, so you got in touch with the facility he was at, which was funded by the Jewish Federation and the
Yes.
American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, and what did they tell you?
They told me that at the very first days of the war, they told me that if Russians will come closer, then it should be some evacuation plans. Don't worry, we will inform you every day. And every day I was calling them, by calling me and telling me it's okay. But it was the time when no one knows what will happen. It's when Kiev capital was surrounded, and we didn't know if Kiev will fall or not. They could come anytime. It was the most hard part of the war. We didn't know what happened there will be, and it was a nightmare.
There's there's a picture up here now of your father with one of the volunteers at the facility. This would be before you went over there to pick him up, and we'll come to the rest of that story. But there's a really horrific moment, Tatyana, when, as I recall, because we had talked to you before, that your father was supposed to get on a bus that the Russians had said would be guaranteed safe passage. And can you tell us what happened? He did not get on that bus.
Oh my gosh, he didn't. So, first the plan, they were telling me that there are evacuation plans for seniors with limited mobility, for seniors. And they told that there is opportunity, and I was asked what country I prefer, Romania or Poland or Moldova. I thought it doesn't matter, just get him out of Ukraine. I would fly anywhere. And I was told, I remember it was Monday, and my family came and packed him, and he was supposed, it was a bus going from different cities, from different facilities, gathering Jewish seniors and disabled people from entire east of Ukraine to evacuate. And my dad was supposed to be on it, and it was not enough space or something. So that day he didn't leave. And when I called next morning asking what's happened, why Papa didn't leave, the lady told me that it was another volunteer. She told me that that bus got under the fire and 6 people died. I was at work. I remember that day I had mental breakdown. I was a nurse at work. I felt like death just walked by me like here. And after that, I wasn't sure. I wanted to call that. I almost called evacuation plans off, because back then it's hard to describe, because like buses would go without light. The train would go in the night without light. We were not allowed to call anyone because it was, Russians were bombing it. All those evacuation routes were bombed. And I was told to not buy tickets until we know he safely crossed the border. And it was, there is no words to describe what it was.
Of course, but it turned out okay in the end, because eventually, and here's a picture of your father. Well, actually, here's a video. Here is some video that was shot as your father was being taken to a bus from the assisted living facility in Dnipro to get on transportation and to leave Ukraine. And of course, this is, we all helped make this happen. This is Federation dollars that helped with all of this, which is why we're telling you this story. And so he was on the bus from Dnipro to Poland. Train, sorry, I keep calling it a bus, I apologize. He's on the train, and I understand it was an 18-hour trip. And in the meantime, you were flying over to Poland to meet your father.
It was train. It took 18 hours to get to the border. It was separate car for elderly person. It was person in charge with them because my father, he could not have documents with him.
Did you say secret car? I missed.
Separate.
Oh, separate, okay.
Because others, you could not get on them. It was impossible to get. It was separate car in the train, and everyone had seats. Food was provided. It was somebody in charge of the group who were holding documents of them. And they did not, because no one knew what's happened, no one knew if they will make to the border, no one knew if they make through the border. I was told until they cross the border, absolutely do not fly. And I could not text. They told me every first opportunity, because it was other families like me, they told me first opportunity, we will let you know. So it was, I was sitting and not knowing if they, especially after that experience with that bus, I was sitting at home and I could not walk those days. Everyone knew at my work that I will fly any moment. And I think they spent 18 hours to the border because they only could go at night to not be seen. And they spent a day and a half at the border because it was so much people were crossing the border.
And eventually your father was able to cross into Poland and go to a hotel.
Yes, after that it was so much easier.
And there on the left, on your left, I believe, is a picture of him when you first got to the hotel, and then the picture on the right is a little later, I believe, after you had gotten there. So can you tell us about the kind of care? Were you able to learn more about the kind of care you received at the hotel until you could get there?
It's life-saving. They cross not to Warsaw, they cross, I worry now, I forgot the name of that city. And the moment they cross, which is safety, I got a phone call telling me that my father is okay, that I need to fly. They told me address, they told me which hotel. I think it was Doubletree Hilton Hotel in Warsaw. There were bus waiting for them on that side of the border. Bus with medical assistant, with nurse, they took them on by bus and took to hotel. And that hotel, I flew, because it's when they call me to fly, I flew there later, there. They had rooms, it was elderly people, it was a lot of children. It was, I cannot explain you, it was a woman 9 months pregnant. She gave birth a couple days after we left to US. It was a woman from Mariupol without leg. She just civilian. She had 2 daughters, I never forgot that picture. It was very elderly people. It was a lot of children, a lot of young women, their husbands were left behind. It was, everyone had a room. It was 3-time food in a place like this. It was right away when I came. I remember just walking in hotel, there is welcome sign, and I just told my name and I told I'm his daughter, and everyone knew, Tanya, you're the daughter, everyone. Yes. They brought me to my dad. My dad he was crying as a child. He was traumatized. He, I think, was having dementia. He thought he's back in the Second World War II. He thought he was lost back then. He thought he's lost again. Volunteer was all the time next to him. Because my dad was going through a hotel, trying to get through all these floors and asking everyone, no matter what nationality, asking, do you know where is my daughter Tanya? I lost Tanya. It's what he was going in that hotel. It's what people told me when I arrived. And they all were, so everyone was waiting for me to come. And with time difference, it's like a day later, when they brought him to the room, he was staying next to the door, half opened the door, and anyone who was walking by, he was asking, do you know where is my daughter Tanya? Everyone. He was just so traumatized, and because while they were going, it was explosions. Even at night, they hear this. It was very, very traumatizing for somebody who went through war. And when they took me to him right away, I never forget him. He was crying as a child. He was crying like for 2 hours. And we right away went to separate room because he was afraid to leave my hand. He was holding to me for all that few days, and he was holding to me. I just tell you that if not for the help which was provided, I know that I would not have him now here. I can tell. It's truth. I don't know what was to say. It's just truth. My father wouldn't be sitting here.
That's it's a very moving story, and we are so grateful that you were willing to come here and tell us and to relive this a little bit. Thank you to both of you so much. Alex, does he have anything to share?
Thank you. If it's okay, I want just to tell you, I did not answer all your questions. I want you all know what was in Warsaw. It was rooms provided. It was all food provided. It was all spiritual needs provided. All holidays. It was several rabbis from Ukraine and from Israel. It was from US also. It was every day in the chat. It was questions saying the doctor is coming who need help because children were sick. They were asking if somebody need clothes, if somebody need laundry. I think it's even some excursion was organized, not that I would go with my dad, but something I think. But medications, doctors, everything was provided there. Plus legal help, people were going to Israel, to Germany, and all this was helped. It's like from the moment that you have my dad in assistant home, escorting him to the train, taking him, feeding him during all this trip, making sure they all pass the border, meeting them in Poland, and to the moment that we're going to Israel, when my dad went with me, everything was provided, everything was helped. It's just...
all the needs were taken care of, medical and social and food and shelter and everything that was needed. And so we are so grateful. I know everyone here is very grateful that you took the time to come here and tell us your story. And we want to thank you for coming here today. And thank you so much.
Thank you for all the people.
And we're going to take another short...
He won't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I told him he'll tell you you can trust.
He wants to say thank you. Да не надо вставать, сиди.
Я от всей души хочу поблагодарить еврейскую организацию. Они спасли меня, как говорится, это. Все сделали для того, чтобы я оказался здесь, в Америке. Спасибо вам всем, кто принимал участие. И я очень благодарен от всей души. Вам благодарен. Спасибо. Thank you.
My father says thank you for everyone who took part in all this organization, that you saved his life, and everyone who took part for him safely get out of the war and come to America. Thank you from all his heart.
So, probably best if we